I never even know if stuff I'm listening to is new or old usually. There's people that work at my studio that just like send things over. They say, check this out. I'm still suffering from a love of 8-bit music. Jerry and I met when we were at college. We were at Kent State and we were both in the art department and we protesting the war in Vietnam. And Jerry even happened to be right there where one of the students got shot at our school one day. They closed the school down and we started writing music together and we were trying to describe what we saw going on in the world around us, and it came to the decision that we were not observing evolution, but we were observing de-evolution. We got hired to play for disc jockeys from one of the big FM radio station in Cleveland, Ohio. By the time Devo started playing, all these people that were dressed in Halloween costumes, we were freaking them out with the music. It wasn't what we weren't a rock band as far as they were concerned, and they were like, so we had people like Frankenstein going, get them off the stage, you know, and then we got in a fist fight, and they were throwing bottles, and one of the DJs got up on stage, are you gonna let these guys prostitute music like this? I think that was the proper response. I think that's the response we wanted from them. And at that point, we kind of realized that maybe our duty in Ohio was to be a lightning rod for hostility. It was like 1977, and we were playing a place called Max's Kansas City in New York. And there was this Devo fan, and he had painted Boogie Boy on the hood of his car. And he came into the show, and he got kind of drunk, and we saw him get thrown out of the club. And so later on, we're playing our show, and David Bowie was in the audience, and he came backstage with us, and he was sitting on this table, kind of like this one but lower. He was, and it was bigger, and he was sitting there like this, saying, "Guys, I really love what you're doing, and I want to produce you guys. I want to take you guys to Tokyo this winter." And right when he said that, the guy that had the car, that had that Boogie Boy head that had been thrown out for being drunk, David Bowie's sitting there like this. This guy came out, we didn't know he was there. He had been sleeping under the table. All of a sudden he stuck his head out between David Bowie's legs and went, whoopee! And it was kind of like, we were all like, what the hell is he doing? And then like at that point, there was some bouncer there that was like there to protect Bowie. And the next thing you know, the guy was grabbed by the back of his neck and was like thrown down the stairs again. The record company had chosen Girl You Want to be a single. And then, not even through the record company, it turned out that there was a programmer in Florida who was listening to things that were going on in nightclubs, and he realized that Whippet was actually, the DJs were picking Whippet to play in dance clubs. And so he started programming it on radio. Back in those days, it was such a lucrative business that record companies would have their Rod Stewarts and their Madonnas and their Loverboys that were on the radio, and then they'd have like a couple art bands, and like Warner Brothers had Captain Beefheart and Devo. But we never lost money for them. You know, we always at least were in the black, and you know, the downside was that after Whippet became a hit, all of a sudden, I remember one night we were working on some things, and all of a sudden the president of Warner Brothers just showed up in the studio where we were working. Like, hey, how are you? You know, I really wanted to get together with you guys. You know, I used to do mixing in the old days. We were like working on something for the album. I don't remember what song it was, but he sat down at the mixing console and we kind of all backed away. And he's like mixing the song, and it's like getting worse sounding and getting worse sounding. And then finally he goes, okay, well, thanks. It's good to see you guys. And, you know, keep it up. Do whatever you want to do, but just make sure you do another Whippet. Once they saw us as a moneymaker, it's like they tried to get involved in everything. And that was, you know, unfortunate. MTV was just full of baby pictures and bullshit videos at its best. It was full of bullshit videos that record companies were making to prop up bands like Loverboy and Huey Newton and stuff like that, and people that shouldn't have had a video in the first place. Those bands should have all just been allowed to die a natural death.